Hi, welcome to Super Saturdays. We're joined today by Alice Murphy up from Adelaide, Christian Rees, and we've got our normal co-host Colin Smith here next to me, Justin McKay. Today we're going to be discussing the perception in Australia that the Matildas, the women's national team, have a stronger following than the Socceroos, the male national team here in Australia. So, Alice, you want to kick us off with your opinion on that perception?
I think a lot of it comes from growth, not necessarily the sheer numbers of following. Like the Socceroos have, they've been around a lot longer, so they've got a following that has stuck with them, whereas the Matildas' following has just exploded in the last sort of 5 years, especially with the women's game in general getting bigger. The Matildas doing very well. Like, I think the Olympics, you saw that pretty nationally. The Matildas getting through right near to the end. Bit of disappointment there, but I think that growth is why it looks a lot bigger, because it's growing very quickly.
Yeah, and do you think that because the women are obviously probably stronger in terms of world football in their own sector, that it's easier to have them in the media because they're winning more games, they're more successful? Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you'd rather, if you're a news reporter and you're trying to get people to watch, you don't want to be like, oh, we've lost again. You want to be able to report on the good news. Like, the Matildas have done this. Having the World Cup coming, the Women's World Cup being here next year as well is going to boost that again, because people are going to be able to go and watch these world-class women's games. Right out the back door, compared to it being, this overseas kind of fantastical almost, because it's never on at a time when people can watch.
That's true. What do you reckon, Chris?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fantastic, the growth that we are seeing with women's football. Being having a daughter who enjoys playing, it's good to see there's avenues there if she really wants to pursue playing football, which is fantastic. And it's pretty clear, within the media, with the World Cup coming, governments getting involved with, putting infrastructure in for, the Women's World Cup coming here, and obviously joint with New Zealand, that the big coverage on it is there. So and I think it's good for, Football Australia to really make the most of that and sort of try and drive the development of infrastructure. We've seen the development of the Raw Women's Facility with Brisbane, and that sort of coincides with the Women's World Cup coming. So it's probably a case of make the most of it when we can with the World Cup coming, so we can get better facilities for football throughout the country, if anything, because it's definitely needed. And you see with the other codes, whenever there's sort of any media, anything, any attention on the other sort of codes, they really jump on it with the PR and the media to try and make the most of it. I think within football they need to do the same thing and really show that the numbers, within women's football, the way it's growing, and even to a lesser extent the men's, that the numbers are so huge within the game, but the support and the infrastructure from the government isn't. So it's good to see the World Cup and then making the most of it and getting those things put in place.
And do you think there is any bias between the Socceroos and Matildas from the media or the general public, or do you think that's more of a perception?
I think now, because the women are doing so well within, you look at Sam Kerr in England and the other girls playing, in the WSL over there, even some of the other Matildas in France at Lyon and stuff like that. They're really reaching good heights that the men's haven't done since the days of sort of Vidukas, Kuhls, Kales and things like that. We don't have players reaching the heights that the women are at the moment. So I guess the question is what are we doing wrong in the men's side that the women are doing so well? So that needs to be identified at a lower level within Australia to see why they're not progressing. But I think it's a bit of a perception, if anything. But again, media, with football being exposed in Australia at a high level, it's only going to be good for the growth of the game on both sides. It shouldn't be about women's and men's games. It should be unified and together that we grow the game throughout with the Australian game.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely easier for kids especially to associate with the superstars like the Sam Kerrs, the Ellie Carpenters, whereas in the men's side of things, you wouldn't say there's a Tim Cahill or a Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka at the moment for kids to aspire to. So and I guess it's easier for the media to follow the likes of Sam Kerr and Ellie Carpenter that are doing it on an international stage at a club and international level. And I guess you're kind of impartial on this. You've been in Australia 4 or 5 years since you got here. Like from media and social media and things, have you seen a difference in the views on Matildas and the Socceroos?
Not so much a difference, but I would probably say I've seen a lot more women's sort of social media, and I guess that's because they're doing so well. I think it's a lot easier to report on, and people want to know about if the country's doing well. If you're getting beat, I don't think people really want to read about it, and yeah. So if I think of now an Australian superstar, I think of Sam Kerr. I don't think of any of the male team at the moment. That's the first person that comes to mind. So that's obviously because they're doing well, she's doing well. I think if it was a men's player who was doing well, he'd probably come to mind. But at the moment, I think the women. Yeah, apart from that.
Yeah, no, that's it.
$40,000.
30,000.
36,000.
I reckon it's in the 40s. I reckon it's about 46.
36,000.
I know my Matildas.
Is my go?
No.
All right, Sam Kerr.
Mike Viduka.
Tony Popovich.
Tim Cahill.
No.
Tony Dorigo.
Aaron Moy.
Mark Viduka.
I said
Oh,
that.
you said that.
You're gone.
You are.
You're gone.
Did you say that?
Mill Agent.
Jamie McMaster.
Jamie McMaster, he didn't play in the Premier League.
Played for Leeds.
He's
They
not
were
an
in the
Aussie.
Prem.
Yeah, he is.
Is he an Aussie?
He is.
VAR.
You go on, do it.
Go on.
Go on.
You won't VAR it.
You won't do it.
I heard Mark Schwarzer.
No, because you...
Oh, no.
No, I didn't VAR it. I didn't VAR. I just said another Aussie. I had 5 seconds. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah.
Don't you be looking
I
at
said
it.
Mark Schwarzer.
I'm looking to
I
see
said Mark
Mark
Schwarzer.
Bosnich.
He's just
Ah,
he's just
I
Jesus.
said Jamie McMaster was
No,
on
do you
there.
know what he googled? Australians in the Premier League.
No, I said
Scott McDonald.
he didn't.
Yeah, VAR it. VAR.
Who for?
Middlesbrough. They're in the Premier League then.
No
You can
way.
VAR if you want.
I've got to keep going. Stan Lazaridis.
Did we say Tim Cahill?
Yeah,
Tim
out.
Cahill?
Out. No, no, I never
Yes,
said it. No one
out.
said it.
No, I said, did anyone
No,
say
no,
Tim Cahill?
you never.
No, you can't say that. It's 5 seconds.
No, it's not 5 yet. I
Yeah,
asked
yeah,
the question.
yeah.
It was John Cosmina.
No, too late.
No, I said it.
That wasn't
I
the
said
Premier
it.
League.
It was Arsenal. He played at
That wasn't the
Arsenal.
Premier
He
League.
played at Arsenal.
That was the NSL.
That's the top league in England. NSL.
So I won again.
Yeah.
So
I
I
said
won.
John Cosmina.
Even that's not the Premier League.